Hey.
Whoa, we are live in YouTube. What is up, Vinyl Conversations family? What's
Yes.
going
Man,
on?
Hey.
This is Vinyl Conversations After Dark. So on this, we're on YouTube. We're live on YouTube, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna talk about music and things.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever's off the dome, we finna talk about it on
music
YouTube
and
live.
things. Music and things.
And
And things.
things.
And
And
things.
things.
Music and things.
So, so of course, let's just go ahead and get that disclaimer stuff out the way. We do not own the rights to any of this music that you hear in the background. We don't own the rights to none of it. It's all for educational entertainment purposes only. We do not own the rights.
That's because we
We
black
do
in
not,
America.
because we black and
Black in America.
damn, can you let us get on before we get off?
I'm sorry.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. My bad.
Black people. Just can't wait to say some political, like, power to the black people. Can we just get one show out first?
Well, look,
My bad.
hold up. We got to make their introductions. So, of course, we are your hosts. I'm Latifah. That's Tam over there. Say hi.
Hola.
And our special guest, which you've already seen him before in Vinyl Conversations Live on Sunday, but he's joining us today on After Dark. Please
After
welcome
dark.
Black Pedro to the
Hey.
show.
Thank you, ladies, for
Yay!
having me. Always a ball hanging with y'all, so I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes. But
Yeah,
y'all
you got the jokes.
you gonna stop calling me special though. I heard that. You was like
What do you mean?
our special guest. Listen, I passed all my tests in school, okay? And I only had to wear that helmet for 13
you
years.
was in
So
that
you gonna leave me
classroom where you
alone.
never traded classes all day. You stayed in that one classroom all day.
Yeah, my bus was shorter, but you know what? It was more seats because it was less
It was
kids.
more-
So yeah, I could
It was
spread
more
out and have my
seats.
own bench. Yeah, I could have my own bench. Yeah, that's right.
just,
Yeah.
just keep drinking your juice, baby. Just keep drinking your juice.
Grown man drinking alcohol like this. Y'all leave me alone.
We ain't got no sense. I'm gonna put my own disclaimer out there, guys. I ain't got no sense and I ain't shit. So there's that.
All in one. Just all in
All in
case
one.
Yeah, I feel it. I should do like this. There we go.
Look. All I'm gonna say is you take whatever resonates with you and keep it moving.
Yes.
That part. It's opinions up in this mug.
Yes.
What we got?
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys remember this song or if you ever heard it before, but it's by Black Alicious. It's called "Make You Feel That Way." And it was actually on the soundtrack. It's on a movie soundtrack.
I already know.
You guys don't know?
Brown sugar.
Oh, you already know.
When I heard you playing it earlier, I was like, "Ooh, that's that brown sugar." That's my favorite movie of all time. So yeah,
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
Favorite
like,
movie all time?
all time. Brown sugar is deep.
I feel bad. I've never seen it. Is that
you wait, what? Wait,
is it
huh?
that's the
It's
Black
with
Kardashian?
it's with Sanaa Lathan
I know what it
and
is.
Tay Diggs,
Yeah. Like
and,
the other
it's about music.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like with like Sanaa Lathan, Tay Diggs, they just take the same story and they're like, all right, now it's basketball. Now it's music.
No,
Now they jump roping. Okay,
Time out, sir.
National Jump Rope Championship, and they got to come together. It's called Double
No.
Dutch.
no, wrong
Not the same
actor,
people.
wrong actor. Tay Diggs got Omar Epps.
No, I'm saying with that genre of actor, like all of them, like that collective, they like the Black Mickey Mouse Club. You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean,
it's like they
so
ended up doing. I'm not criticizing it at all. I'm just saying
I'm
like
not-
if I saw Love in Basketball, I feel like I saw
Seen it
Brown
all.
Sugar. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, no.
So wait,
I'm sorry.
so wait. So you saw Love and Basketball.
I saw Love and Basketball many moons ago, like one time.
So how you not gonna
One
you
time.
didn't see Brown Sugar?
One time.
I'm
That's
sorry.
why your name is Black Pedro, because you ain't even black.
First of all,
Pedro. This black man can say Pedro the comedian.
if you want to get into shade wars, I got you by a few hues, young lady. So you,
I mean,
and that's a high yellow thing. When they high yellow, they try and get on you about your blackness, just to, because that's how she feel on the inside, Tam. And I know, baby, you just as black as the rest of us. Wakanda forever. But my shit is real. And plus, I'm Eastside Detroit. If I go get my high school yearbook right now, it can't get no blacker. There's women with orange hair in there, okay? And it ain't even theirs. It didn't even grow like that.
It's not even there.
It didn't even grow like that. So don't get on my blackness now. I do other, while y'all was watching movies, okay, I was out doing other black shit. You know,
what's the other black shit you was doing?
I'm sad.
Like changing my own oil so that I don't have to pay $40 at Jiffy Lube. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
You know how to do that?
Yeah, I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying like that's black shit. I changed this oil myself.
I changed my own oil, my own tires. Hell, I won't take them bitches if I have to.
That's black shit. White people go to the dealership. They're like, time for a service check. It's like, no.
Nah, we don't look. We don't go to the dealership. We go to Uncle.
Yeah. I'm not doing
Cam, where we going, Uncle?
Uncle or the local crackhead, because they know. They trying to make that dough.
That nigga, he'll jack the car up himself. He like, I don't need no jack.
You need your brakes fixed? I called one of my uncles out here in Phoenix. I was like, you know anybody that do brakes? He said, yeah, I got somebody here, because, you know, he do his little thing. And I said, you know, one of these crackheads? He said, yeah, I know a good crackhead. Yeah, he'll do all that.
Good crackhead. Lamont is his name.
No, his name is Good Crackhead. And I'm like, yeah, I might hit him up.
That's real hood. When your nickname is just what you do. Like that's my nigga Walk Funny over there, because that nigga Walk Funny. You can see he pigeon toed. Like y'all couldn't come up with nothing, just what it is.
That's the homie Knock Knees.
Yeah. Hole in shirt. Because that one time that nigga had a hole in his shirt. Remember that nigga? Oh, hole in shirt ass nigga. Yeah, that's how that go. But back to brown sugar.
Did we actually call somebody that? We did. Did we actually call somebody that?
Did you?
With a hole in their shirt. We did, didn't we?
Probably.
We call somebody that. It sounds familiar.
Kids get straight to the point. They'll be like, breath stain, come over here. But stay away.
No filter.
No filter at all.
Nah, man. They ain't got, that's why we got to send them to school so they can learn how to interact with humans in a human way. Because otherwise, you imagine you show up to your first job and be like, your neck too thick or something. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just be telling people what you feel. That's why motherfuckers out here apologizing every other day for shit they say on YouTube and tweets and shit like that. Nick Cannons and shit is like, nigga, all your feelings don't have to be out there. Even if you truly believe it, like, hold some of that shit in. Like, goddamn.
The truth hurts though. Like, people are so into tiptoeing around people's feelings that when somebody tell you the truth, you don't know what to do with it. Like, oh my God, they told me the truth. Shit, God damn it, there's something wrong. So you know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if what he said was the truth, but I do know that. And here's my thing: as an adult on this planet, you should always be able to say, or I'm sorry, whatever you say out loud, you should be able to stand behind the next day and all the days after that. Right?
That part.
And if you don't, then you were either bullshitting when you said it or you bullshitting now, right? So like, but just if you're gonna say it out loud, mean it, know what you're saying, and be able to stand behind it the whole time. Like that's
Pastor Pedro.
That's all I ask for.
Yes.
Whatever your belief is, because I don't even get caught up. I don't get caught up into the original Semite thing. Like I don't give a fuck about none of that. But if you say the shit out loud, stand behind it the next day.
That part. I mean, especially now when everything's on record. You know what I mean? Back in the day, when you wouldn't take when you were saying bullshit. So you know, now it's everything. I'm glad there was no video cameras, no phones like that when we was coming up, because I done did some crazy.
Man,
I'm glad it's not on
social media back then.
It wouldn't have worked. It would not have worked.
It would not have worked. Listen,
man.
Yeah. Because the shit that I did, I'm glad there's no what? Prove it.
Like, you know, like I got homies now that are politicians and federal lawyers, things like that. And it's like, nigga, but 96 though, remember that?
Listen, remember that one time
motherfucker.
Remember that one time at band camp?
And the way we went to school, nigga, Wednesdays was band camp. Like, every fucking Wednesday was band camp.
Remember that time at Bible study?
Hey, amen. Amen.
All right, like, what we got next? We gonna skip past brown sugar because clearly.
I'm sorry. I ain't black enough for y'all.
Nah, you gotta see Brown Sugar because that soundtrack is off the chain. It's off the chain.
I'm gonna get it.
And and she takes this one line, which actually I think it originated from the hip hop culture. And Tam actually says it in our lives. It's like, but in the movie she says, when was the first time you fell in love with hip hop? And they go back and they start reminiscing like, oh shoot, it was that song, it was that day, we was out in the block, blah blah blah. You know, and that's pretty much just and that's pretty much just what music is. Music plays a prominent role in our life because it's kind of like the soundtrack to your life.
Absolutely,
because stuff be happening.
I got so many songs where you remember exactly where you were the first time you heard it. You will never stop listening to the song.
That's an exact line from the movie, by the way.
Yeah, I get it. I told you I saw it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you seen them one, you seen them all. No, I'm joking. But there's just so many songs like that where and you'll never stop listening to this song throughout the rest of your life. It will always mean something to you. You know what I mean? And so it's. What about you, ladies? When was what made you fall in love with hip hop?
Man, I heard. It was like the 80s out here on the West Coast. My brother was playing. He had the record player on, but then he turned the this AM channel on. And he was like, "Hey, somebody is on the radio with your name." I'm like, what are you talking about? He was like, "There's somebody on the radio with your name."
That makes sense.
Stop playing. So, like the next night or something, he because I missed it. So the next night we stayed up to hear it. So I'm in another room. He calls me. He's like, "Oh, they're on." So I come in there and it's Queen Latifah. I'm like, "What? How does she have my name?" I didn't know the whole even though she's Queen Latifah, that's her stage name. That's not her real name. Right. Which Dana Owens. But that was the first time I really kind of was starting to get into hip hop. Like I heard my name, I heard her rap, and was like, "Oh, this is dope."
It pulled you in, for sure.
This is amazing.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that was the first time, and I heard it was through her.
Yeah. What about you, Tam?
For me, it goes way back before Queen Latifah. I'm talking like Crush Groove, Kool Moe Dee, breaking that kind of thing, and it was just something about that music that you just couldn't walk away from. Run DMC, you know what I mean? Like I think Run DMC was really when we was my Adidas, you can just fill the West Coast with the Adidas. We didn't wear Adidas, I think we was Nike Cortezes on the West Coast, but then people started wearing Adidas and you started it just became exciting to listen to these people, and most of it was absolutely East Coast music. Because out here in the West, I'm not saying we weren't doing anything. I'm just saying most of my first experiences that absolutely came from, especially breaking, you know what I mean? And Crush Groove had a great soundtrack, you know what I mean? Like Crush Grooving,
right?
All day. You know what I mean?
All day.
We come from the 70s and the 80s, the you know what I mean? The Earth, Wind, and Fires and all of these things, and then it somehow just slowly transformed, with Buddy, you know what I mean? Even with the Beastie Boys, you know what I mean? Brass Monkey, it just started to move in a different way to where whenever you heard something, I was excited about that. And when Queen Latifah came, when she did UNITY, literally, who you calling a bitch? It's just she represent everybody. Who you calling?
Are you
Nah, for real. It's quick for a woman to be who you calling a bitch? She put that shit in the lyrics. I'll beat your ass right now. So
By the way, I do believe she would have. Like, I don't think I can handle Latifah. Queen Latifah. Pink. Oh shit.
It's your turn.
So no, for me, definitely. Like, I realized that, like, if there was COVID back in the day, you know, we would have killed each other in third grade beatboxing. You know, that's all we used to do is like, you know what I mean? Just like spitting everywhere. But, you know, hitting them with it. Then we, but for me, it was definitely getting that first hip hop album, Run DMC, Tougher Than Leather. You know, just, you know, Peter Piper picked peppers, but run rock rhymes, like just shit like that. Where I was probably third, fourth grade.
What's the other one? Is that them? You Be Illin'. Is that them?
And you know, songs were like, so like, I think what pulled me in hip hop early was like, there used to be this funny element with certain artists, you know what I mean? Like skits and sketches and things like that. That's why Redman is my favorite MC of all time. Just because like his early albums are just lyrically
bomb.
Lyrically he can't be fucked with. And then like, you know, he just had these jokes and just this personality that was like half street, rough, rugged, and half just clown shit, you know. So that was something I always appreciated. But like, definitely for me, Run DMC was like my kind of real entry into it. You know what I mean? Like the first album I bought, and I'm talking about an album, like a big round ass vinyl thing.
Like a vinyl thing.
A real record.
You said like a real
conversation.
Like vinyl. They'll call it a record now, and it's
like one of them.
Ooh, she had it in her back pocket, girl.
Oh, one of them. On the thing about Redman, did you see his last single? I slapped the shit out of somebody. That shit was hilarious. He said, "Give me my." Give me that. I was like, yo, only Redman can pull that off and make it sound like, yo, like, I want to hear that again.
To this day, Redman's original MTV Cribs is just, it's art. It's art. It was a commentary. No, I'm serious. It was a commentary on that whole genre. Like all y'all niggas out here, some of y'all niggas out here renting houses to try and look like it. You nigga, you don't know how to ride a jet ski. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like faking it.
This nigga had mattresses on the floor.
This nigga had a nigga on the floor. He had his cousin asleep on the floor.
He had somebody there.
But that's real hood shit though.
This nigga put two wires together to ring the doorbell like ding.
That's real hood
shit.
But
look, but Diddy said later that he still got that house. That's one of his rental properties.
No, that's his shit. That was his shit. His house. That was his real shit. He really owned that house. And
he really owned it.
But his shit, I used to go to in high school. I used to go to school and like, cause like, okay, so in Detroit, y'all were talking about like the West Coast experience, but in Detroit, we kind of got a mix of both. You know, kind of in that early '90s through the '90s. So, like Redman and Ice Cube were my two favorite MCs back then, right? And I listened to both equally and heavily. But like not a lot of cats around me were so East Coast, or like the guys I played football with. A lot of them didn't listen to like Redman or you know, even Farside, like that more eclectic hip hop shit. So I used to hit them with with Redman skits and jokes and shit, and be like, "Hey, yo, man, Kenya's looking for you." They're like, "Kenya? Who's Kenya?" "Kenya suck my dick." And, you know, just kill the whole table. They're like, "Where you get that shit from?" I was like, "Yeah, nigga, you need to listen."
Listen, Redman is the truth. That one where he be like, "My middle name must be fuck you." Because when bitches be like, "Fuck you," I'll be there. I'll be there.
Hey, the deacon looking for you. Who? My dick in your mouth.
I'm not finna play with you.
Man, he used to kill me with that shit. So yeah, those
I mean, and he still, you know, he still does because he's been consistent since the beginning.
Yeah.
And so even if he wasn't a rapper, he could be a comedian. Shit, he's hilarious.
Well, I mean, him and Method Man, as terrible as it was, actually got all the way to sitcom on Fox. Like,
I didn't see that.
I don't know.
What sitcom?
Y'all don't remember? They read it. No. I think it was called Red and Meth. Honestly.
I thought you was gonna talk shit about How High. I was gonna come through the
come on, say How High is whack.
That you know what's crazy?
I was gonna come through and slap y'all. Like if he say that How High was a mess, I'm gonna slap. He gonna feel me. It's gonna be some otherworldly.
Wait, look, damn.
You don't even know who you're talking to. You don't even know who you're talking
to. Look. Only if he said How High too. Now he said How High too, then yeah.
I didn't even disrespect them by watching that. I'm not even.
What I'm going to tell you is that so maybe like a year or two into my LA life, I was like, 23, 24, and I got some freelance work as a hip hop writer. There was a street pharmacist at the time who was trying to bring Rap Pages, the magazine, back.
Yeah, Rap Pages is dope.
Yeah, and at this time it was defunct, but he was trying to bring it back. So they were sending me out and paying me to go to these interviews. So they sent me to the Ambassador Hotel, which is now a school here in LA. They tore it down and built a school, but this is the site where Robert Kennedy was assassinated by Sirhan, right? 68. At this point, it was an abandoned building, but on this day, it was the set of How High. And they sent me there to interview Method Man and Redman. I smoked some weed with Method Man. And I got to talk to two of my favorite MCs. So yeah, definitely love that movie for sure. But I love the fact that I got to go on set and meet both of those cats.
That would be awesome.
No, it was absolutely.
I still quote that movie to this day. They be like, "Nigga, I'm looking for the shroom. I'm looking for them. I'll be looking for that
shit too." Look, what's your name? I need money.
He said, like, bro, you gotta be kidding me. He said, "You don't talk." Yeah.
What was his name? Hits from the Streets. Huh?
Yeah,
BT. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
When that nigga
he took over,
and he said, "This motherfucker," and I was like, "Yo, the movie was so not meant to be as great as it was." I went to the movie theater because it was Redman. Like, who don't go to see that?
Yeah.
And then it just completely took off. Like,
it's a cult hip hop classic.
And it's also like Mike Epps was a bit of a scene stealer and a showstopper. I've been pimping since pimping. You come from a line of assistant pimps, nigga.
This nigga said, "You don't know now another nigga. Now another. Like you say that now another."
Listen, I don't, whatever it is. When I got to LA, 1999. One of the first clubs I started working at was this club called Mixed Nuts. It's now called the Comedy Union, but it's right next to the original Roscoe's on Pico. And, one night this nigga might, the host is like, "Yeah, this dude, and he's about to be in the next Friday's movie, whatever." And this nigga got on stage, and I was just like, this nigga is the new Richard Pryor. Like, I hadn't laughed like that in a long ass time. Like, this motherfucker. Like with his like Charlie Ray, you know what I mean? Like that old shit he used to do, man. It was devastatingly like so. Mike Epps is like one of my all-time funny cats.
Yeah, he's definitely that dude that for me the one thing besides remembering every line from all Friday movies.
Friday, yep.
He did a stand-up and he was like, when you guys get ready to go to school and it's that first day of school and you lay your shit out on the bed.
Lay your clothes out.
You be walking by that room and you're like,
This nigga said, "I'm going to kill him in the morning."
Nigga, who didn't do that? You ain't grow
up
right.
Did that.
You ain't grow up right.
That's why it was funny though, because it was literally what we did.
Yep. Like, it was a fashion show. The first day of school was a fashion show.
No question.
Like in Detroit, this was actually sadly a very important thing. Nigga, if you didn't, nigga, like it was important because the rest of the year you was gonna be known as small shirt or hole in the pants or motherfucking stank socks or some shit, nigga. What the fuck we opened up the show with it. We know what it is. Bad hairline. They didn't chop your shit right. The barber didn't nigga.
Sunday's best every goddamn day.
You know, I just recently. Oh, go ahead.
Are you better hope you don't have something on somebody else got on? You wearing the same shit to school.
Then you be twins with the fat stanky nigga all year. You be like, yeah, wait, look at the twins over there. Like, fuck.
But you know, oddly enough, no one ever says when two niggas got on white tees. Nobody be like, oh, you niggas got on the same shirt. Like,
that's gang shit.
Right.
Them niggas came together. You better watch both of them at the same time.
They had the crease down the middle, so y'all both got crease down the middle. Y'all both got on Nike Cortez and 501s, but y'all not dressed alike.
Y'all shared the same pack of t-shirts, huh? Y'all cracked open the same pack. Didn't even iron.
Bought the 501s from the same store.
Didn't have enough sense to lay it out last night.
The swap meet. We got them 501s from the swap meet. Don't play.
Hey, stop playing. Stop playing.
But all of this, though, even though like we giggling and it's fun because I'm having a great time, it is still all about the music because even in those times, we have music playing in the background. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Like when I say 501 Blues, I'm thinking like NWA. You know what I mean? Because they wore 501s and you know what I mean. Chucks or Nike Cortezes and sometimes Pumas. It didn't really matter. Everything has something associated with it music wise, and fashion is definitely for a culture. Fashion is definitely music based because Lil Wayne came out wearing them little skinny ass jeans, and then all of a sudden the whole world needs these skinny jeans. I'm like, oh.
I mean, from my Adidas. You know, Nelly had Air Force Ones.
Yep.
This new nigga is trying to say that everybody's wearing Air Force Ones because of him, and it's like, you need to wake the fuck up, son, young man. I can't remember. I don't even remember the rapper's name, but this nigga is like,
somebody gonna slap his mama.
Yeah, but and then the imagery, you know, like the things we wear in the way we wear shit. You know what I mean? Like the way we put on that.
FUBU.
Oh my God, fuck you.
Like, for us, by us, yes. But you know, even going from like high-end couture shit to creating our own fashion brands, like you know, like FUBU, Kanai. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Car Kanai. Oh man, I had me a Car Kanai fit.
Sean John got some tight ass shit. I ain't gonna lie, Sean John.
In the beginning,
Sean John is one at Paris. You know what I mean? Like he you know,
when he first came out, that line was
came out.
He did his suits and shit are clean. Like so, yeah. I mean, we've always had that, right? Like we've always done that. And they've always patterned themselves, even on what's her name? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her last name. Sarah was the first name, but she was just completely subjugated for her huge butt, right? Like stolen from America, taken to Europe, and showed off, like treated like an animal.
Right. I don't remember her name too, but I know what you're talking about.
Sarah's the first name, and I believe
I'm like, Sarah, you mean Jennifer? I'm playing.
No, right. No, but then when we look back in the day, like those old French, you know, ornate dresses where the back end of the woman's butt would bloom out, and they literally had wire holding it up back there.
Right.
That was to emulate that same butt that they subjugated and called animal. You know what I mean? Like they wanted to emulate everything that they ridicule of us. They actually are jealous of.
They want it. I mean? They want it. Yeah. Now ass is everything.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, exactly. You know that white girls will take 2 old pork chops and stuff it up their ass. just to make it look like that, and halfway kill themselves. And sadly, honestly, there are black women doing it too, because you know, to be honest, not all black women have it like that, right?
Oh no, because I don't got it. I got the dreaded disease. I am white in the back. White in the back. Listen.
Girl, we love you though. We still love you though. You have all your other attributes.
I still got hoes, so
you know that. Nobody doubted your game. Shut up. Take something away, and you just pimp harder in the other direction. It don't matter.
Pimp harder in the other direction.
That's all it is. That's all it is. But you know, even up to K Michelle, right, the singer, like she damn near killed herself, you know, stuffing bullshit up her ass to to try and get that, to try and get an ass she already had, but like, yeah, you know.
But is that
taken out like, oh y'all, this, but don't try to preach to people now though, because that was
right. Well, yeah,
that was you, so you can't look down on somebody that's doing it. All you can do is educate them. You can't look down.
Share your experience, right? Share your experience, but yeah, you're in no position to judge anybody for doing what you did. Yeah.
But the whole thing is though, like, why are women led to do this though? Like, what is that whole big stigma?
Yeah.
It's social media.
Because
it's like,
sex sells. No one wants to see a boring person. Like, that's not exciting. People want to see borderline Pornhub on TV in their social media feed, in their Instagram feed. They want to see like that. You're not going to stop. If somebody's looking at my picture, they're not going to stop and be like, oh man, I wonder how beautiful she is. I wonder about her personality. Now, if I'm bent over and I got a G-string to the side and, kind of possibly might be in a mirror over here, they're going to stop.
Absolutely.
That's what's interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, think about the icons that blew up, in the early 2000s, and even to this day, Kim Kardashian is around because she got fucked by Ray J, Brandy's brother. Like at the time, I don't even think that nigga had dropped a song yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? He was just Brandy's brother. You know what I mean?
He said that's Brandy's brother.
I'm just saying, like, like he wasn't even that nigga or whatever. He was just like, but Kim Kardashian was on the scene because she used to hang with Paris Hilton, and Paris Hilton really blew up once we saw her getting fucked on tape in Night Vision, right? Like, it's like, that at some point that shit became so mainstream that it was like totally acceptable, you know what I mean? And then they were able to take it to this kind of mainstream level or whatever, right? So
it's like the only
cutting Ray J a check.
So look,
I know he got his money off of that for sure, definitely.
So it's like the only way for you to blow up if you show something off, do a sex tape, that type of thing. That's what it is.
I think they say it again?
No.
Take my shirt off during our show. You think that's gonna be more cool?
No, don't do that. Hey, don't get into an entanglement. Don't do it.
All right, we'll go there in a minute, right? But
we're gonna go there.
I won't say that's the only path, but ladies,
it's the fastest path.
Ladies like that showed a route, and then when we fast forward now to 15, 20 years later, and women are putting their asses on sinks, on social media, and now they're models. They're like, I'm a model. It's like,
where'd that come from?
All right.
What kind of swimsuit is that? What's the name of your underwear? And saying you.
I mean, if you're the model and the photographer at the same time, it's like,
is that Indian hair? Like, what? I mean, what are you modeling for?
Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm not placing, traditional models above anybody else either, but it's just, it created a culture of, I can just do this myself. I can create my own image, become my own star. It was the beginning of the reality era, right? Like, that was reality. We watched Paris Hilton get fucked by a dude named Rick Solomon, whose nickname was Scum. And he was the best friend with a guy who owned a company I used to work for. And I saw that tape before it came out, not even on purpose, just sitting at my desk as an assistant one day. So, and Kim Kardashian blew up because Ray J fucked her on tape, and that became
ass injections. Like, oh, this is what they want. Like, let me get an ass injection, and then I'm gonna squeeze my whole intestine to make my shit like a hula hoop, like cherry, not even a hula hoop, a Cheerio size, to where they can put cereal over my head and I can hula hoop a Fruit Loop. Like, what the fuck? Now that shit, I really don't understand. Like small waist. What are you accomplishing with the size negative?
And also, there is something visual about the hourglass shape. However,
Roger Rabbit.
However, right? No. However, it all has to be proportional. So not only the waist too small, it looks ridiculous. But ladies, if you're gonna inject all that ass, you got to go to the fucking gym and do some leg work. Because when you put all that ass on top of 2 toothpicks, it looks like 2 olives on top of toothpicks just walking around. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, that's gonna break. That knee ain't gonna hold up. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks stupid. It just looks dumb. You know? At a certain point, you look like a fucking flamingo with a fat ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, just that shit ain't sexy. Like, so proportion. Body's about proportionality, I think, and first of all, being healthy. But
okay, so wait a minute. So let's go here. So if we're talking about images and all that stuff, but remember, like, back in the day, you was at the dance or at the club, and certain songs would come on, and everybody's on the floor getting it in. Mm-hmm. But that was like an image type thing too, because if you're down on the floor, you're all dropping it like it's hot. That's an image. What's Absolutely. That saying?
Well, I mean, hopefully we're getting to a point where women can express themselves as freely as men without these stigmas. You know what I mean? Dudes go out. We're encouraged to soil our royal oats. You know what I mean? And that sort of thing. But if a woman goes out and experiments, she becomes certain labels, right? So, or even if she dances a certain way, she becomes labeled. Labeled like that.
I'm a hoe for sure. Because what it meant back then, my knees were still good, so I could drop it like it's hot. So yes, I was dropping it like it's hot, and I don't care how nobody.
Flexibility. No, and not that you should. Wait, I'm just saying.
You was dropping it like it's hot to what this song here?
Hey, let me see it. Yeah. Whatever ass you got left, back it up, girl. Back it up.
Listen, I back it up for real.
But really, like, this was like a workout song. This was a workout song. You was on the dance floor. You sweating.
Just when you thought it was over, he holler out again,
No, I mean, like growing up in Detroit, that was just, it's a among other many music genres like jazz, and obviously the Motown sound. Detroit is also known as a center of electronic music, but. They have a huge EDM festival there every year. But unlike sort of mainstream, techno music or whatever, Detroit shit was like, take that bitch to the motel, beat that bitch with a bat, beat that bitch with a bat. I see you guys say, if you ride in my truck, bitch, you gonna fuck. If you ride in my truck, bitch, it was like, is that your gel or weave? Gel or weave? Weave. I swear to God, these were our songs that I grew up with. But like, dancing was important back then. I admittedly was not one. I could hold a beat, but like we had a specific style of dance called jitting, which would be like crip walking at 3 times the speed at least. It's a lot of fast foot motion, but like to high pace, techno music, and with really ghetto lyrics. And that shit was like how you would floss. It's funny. I watched a video today. One of my frat brothers, he's from here and lives down at like 39th and Van Ness here in LA, and he had a video of the clowning motherfuckers and the crumping motherfuckers. Like Tommy the Clown pulled up on the block and they were doing that shit. Like, it's always been a way for us to, I think, express ourselves and communicate in this way. Unfortunately, I think women have been like judged and sexualized in it,
right,
in a way that they shouldn't be, because dudes are foul and nasty too. And I encourage y'all to be that, ladies. Get
belly
Take that shirt
like
off, Tam. What you doing with that shirt still on? What?
They looking like they 9 months pregnant, talking about something. I want a girl with a Coke bottle shape. Nigga, first of all, you need to eat a salad with your fat ass.
I'm with that because I'm like, because I see pictures of niggas that I went to high school with or even college, and I'm like, bruh, what happened? You was all state, my nigga. What happened? But yeah, it's like I put the onus on myself to take care of myself, so that because there shouldn't be a double standard about putting that on a lady too. You know what I mean?
Not a double standard at all. Right. If you want me to put my hands on your big ass pot belly, then you better smack this fat ass
But sometimes too, like even in those dancing moments, it really wasn't about the lyrics. It was more about the beat. It was more about the beat and dance.
Yeah, no. I mean, rhythm is it. I think that's where I've always been with hip hop. Like, I always connect with beats first, and I'm a percussionist, a former percussionist. So, and I used to play bass as well. So, like, I was part of the rhythm section all day. But I like bass lines in songs are very important to me. That's why I love R&B. But like, that's why I get at some of this trash ass music nowadays. Because I'm like, this beat is hard. All this nigga said was yeah.
Look. But here you go.
You know what? I'm about to tear my living room up. You know what I mean? Like,
there you go.
Yeah, like so. If you got a knocking beat, I could ignore stupid lyrics.
There's a beat right here.
Second to none.
Come on.
If you love it, come
that beat.
It. Yeah. It's something I should let know.
Man, come on now.
But I mean, you hear the lyrics, but you're hearing the beat, and you're like, that beat.
I think that's what we could call a groove. You know what I mean? Like where everything is in group, like it just all meshes together, and you ain't necessarily paying attention to either one more than the other, but they're both working well together the way they should.
Listen, the hook for me was like, "Come on, lay down, your butt is nice and round."
Yeah,
up because it's time to. Then I got it. Then somebody in the background. Ooh.
Oh, look at Tam hit him with some vibrato. I heard that, girl. Go ahead.
Listen.
That's amazing.
But then when you talk about like for me, like that era with Taking a Nun and AMG and
Quick.
Of course, listen, DJ Quick goes without saying. Like I'm not even. Like Quick is the master, and they're underneath. They're his. Don't even. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go. They're his apprentices. You know what I mean? Like AMG. Bitch better have Bitch better have my money.
Ain't nothing like that.
And you hear the lyrics, but the beat is dope. Like.
So I feel like y'all are. This is a synergistic conversation. Because we went to the Red and Meth, and I'm like, well, I was actually on set with them. Part of that Rap Pages era, I got sent to Skip Sailor Studios on Larchmont, which I don't think they're there anymore. Every time I go on Larchmont, I'm like, I think it was that house. But it was basically a house that was this highly professional recording studio. Platinum records everywhere. I met Quick there, interviewed him there. One of the, just realest motherfuckers I've ever dealt with in that space of interviewing. The way he talked about production, he was like, niggas don't even know how to get a real hand clap. They don't know that you got to go in your bathroom and get in the corner of the tub and then catch the echo from off the tiles. I was like, what? Damn, my nigga, like. He's like, that's how you get that real clap sound. You know what I'm saying? Like a real master and technician. So we talk about Dre, obviously. Dr. Dre is beast.
Right.
DJ Premier. There's all these Riz. You know what I'm saying?
Timberland.
Tim.
Yeah, Timberland.
Right. There's all these things. But I really, 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 and I'd like to use this space to big up and say that we underappreciate DJ Quick as a real ass producer,
Facts.
right? Like, cause he was an artist, and DJ was in his name, but like
he DJs too.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm saying he was originally DJ Quick, right? And then he just kind of went to Quick, but like he's a fucking producer. Like he's a top 5 producer in hip hop.
Yeah,
he's all day. Like
he's a genius.
Like you're not. There's not 5 more producers that are better than him. There might be 4, but there ain't 5. You know what I'm saying? He's in my top 5 of producers. So
and it's never a disappointment at any shows. Never.
I haven't had a chance to see him perform live.
What? Let's get off. We got to get off with him. We got to get off with Pedro. He ain't seen Quick perform. We gonna get off this show right now.
Girl, I done seen Wu-Tang 3 times live.
I done seen Wu-Tang too. How you not gonna see Quick?
I haven't had to. I just didn't, girl. They wouldn't let me in there.
You spend $20 when you think about cracking a smile. You listen.
Okay, here's the thing for me. And it's something I've tried to change in my older life is to as I've become a true adult, is like as much as I love music, going to see it live is not a natural instinct I have.
Oh,
like it's weird because I played a lot of music growing up as a kid. I played a lot of jazz, a lot of classical music. So like it's literally in me. I can read 2 different clefs. I can play like multiple instruments, but like I'll be driving around and this is my whole life. I'll be driving around and they'll be like, Summerfest, come see your favorite artist, your second favorite artist, your third favorite artist. Everybody you fucking love.
Yeah, we don't do that.
Well, not even that, but any show though. But I'll be like, man, that sounds like it's gonna be fun.
Right.
And then I just keep driving. Like, my next thought isn't like, get a ticket, call your friends, let's go. It's just like, oh, that's gonna be cool. Cause I guess like y'all, I'm not necessarily into that whole crowd shit, but like going to see Wu-Tang like 20 years removed from their the biggest albums and shit. It's like, yo, it brings it all so much back that I'm like, yo, I need to do this more. Or even going to see live jazz now and then. I'm like, why don't I go fucking do this more? Because
and you in LA, you tripping.
I grew up with it, but it's literally just not, and it's not that I don't appreciate the art form at all. It's just like, it's just not the way my mind. It's not like you should go and stand in this room full of sweaty people and watch it. I don't know if that's how my mind thinks, but it's just like it doesn't click to me that like I have to force myself to be like, yo, or people have to be like, you want to go see this, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm down. But
yeah, like okay, because like Quick performs with a live band, dope. Yeah. Every show is dope. Yeah. And then another group that is just off the chain is Diggable Planet. Diggable Planet with a live band.
Literally, somebody hit me with a Cool Like That link today. And I was like, I saw them live a couple of years ago. What was it, the Novo in LA? And
they was in LA
like 2 years ago.
Like, the end. No, they were there recently.
Okay. So I saw them like, what's this, 20? I saw them like 3 years ago.
When they originally came back. Yeah, I saw them too. And then they came back to LA last year. They did
they came back? They came back?
Yeah.
They re-backed? No, but
stop.
Also, fantastic show. But I will say this. One thing we can't leave out, and if we're gonna talk about live bands, we gotta talk about All the Way Live from the 215. And I'm gonna take a hit.
Yeah, since everybody's breaking. Look, he turned on lights.
No, I had to turn on light. It was just too dark.
I took a hit of my THC Blue Dream pen because
I missed that.
I'm sorry, because I wanted to talk about the first time I ever smoked weed, and it was with the legendary Roots crew.
What?
Who are now the Tonight Show band.
Right.
And that was an experience I had my freshman year at and I didn't know we were gonna be talking about this.
Did he say, look, is that Princeton?
So we did that.
So you showing out now?
I got to. If y'all gonna call it out like that. But no, I'm literally standing in line for lunch one day. This is like January, maybe February of '96, and there's like just the old school flyers, like on like neon green, neon pink, neon orange, no graphics or nothing. It was just like the Roots at Terrace Club tonight, 9 p.m. or some shit, right? I was like the Roots. So I go to the black table. I get my food. Go to the black table. I was like, did y'all see the signs that said the Roots was gonna be here tonight? And they're like, what you talking about? I was like, nigga, it's like a bunch of bright ass signs out front that say that Roots are gonna be here tonight at Terrace. Fast forward that night, we end up we go to Terrace. The Roots are there. My homie, roommate, ended up being one of my roommates, best friends in life. He ran the hip hop show on the radio station on campus. So he talked us into the green room, and blunt started going around, and I was a nerd. Like I got into Princeton, right? And so in high school I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't do shit. I ran track, played football, played a whole bunch of instruments, like nerd shit, like real nerd shit.
Not that nerdy,
but I was also homecoming king, so I wasn't that nerdy.
Wait, you was homecoming king?
Hell yeah! What? At the largest high school in the city of Detroit, straight up. So we all good. But I get there, and the Roots start lighting blunts, and the shit started going on. I was like, well, nigga, if you ever gonna smoke, it should be now. And honestly, I didn't even get high because I didn't even know how to inhale. I was just like.
I'm a front a little bit. I'm a front.
I didn't know what to do.
All right.
But that being, I just set all of that up to say that if we're gonna talk about live hip hop bands, obviously, I think the Roots was at the top, the absolute top, tippy top of that list. Like, Questlove on drum, Kareem, like it's just they're you're not gonna. They're on. They're you're not. They are the Tonight Show band. It's
right, I saw them. I was in college. I think I was a freshman in college when I first saw them, and that was the tour with. And this was in Salama Beach in San Diego. So that was the tour with the Roots, and this is when Common was called Common Sense, and they were all there. But the Roots didn't have the whole full band then, so it was just like Black Thought, Questlove, one of the guitar guys and the one on the piano, on the keys, so it wasn't the full band, so it was like maybe like 4 members, but it was still off the chain. It was like this is crazy. This is a rap group.
Well, honestly, that's what they were originally. It wasn't a whole thing. It was really like Thought, Quest. I think his name's Kareem on keys, and the big dude like Bubba or Buddha or something like that on bass.
Before he got the guy from Cameo.
Yeah. But it was literally just they were a quartet. You know what I mean? That's it. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But like you said, they are definitely in the top. They like top 3. I think they are the top live. Like I think they define hip hop band.
Yeah, because they're their only hip hop band, period. So
like they started.
You're right.
You know, and I won't say they're the only. I mean, like Anderson .Paak kind of does it like that nowadays. You know what I mean? But
I love Anderson .Paak.
No, they're good. But they're not.
And I'm not saying he's originating anything. I'm just saying like they're carrying on a tradition.
Right.
Anderson .Paak is awesome.
Yeah, I do believe that. I do believe that the Roots started the hip hop band.
I just want to touch on weed a little bit.
Or at least brought it into the mainstream. Like there's probably some niggas in some garage in somewhere else in Pennsylvania, like them niggas don't know what we used to do. 1 and 2 and 3. We been doing this shit. Hola, hey.
Like look, we was the Roots. We was the Roots with 2 people in the tree.
Biggest regret, like nigga, we was the leaves, nigga. We was the leaves.
We the branches, motherfucker. Get out of here.
We photosynthesis.
Nick, you just stole my line. I was just about to say that. I swear to God, Sam, I'm out. You stole my shit. I'm out. I'm back. Nigga, we sun rays. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, give me a second. I'll be back.
I just want to talk about weed for a second because you
What's
brought
that?
it up.
What's that?
And you brought up that being your first experience. When I did eventually get into that, because for a lot of my years, I really was like, I ain't smoking, I ain't drinking, I'm not having sex, I'm not doing none of these devil worshiping.
Look, on that note, I'm gonna go turn my light on too.
Yeah.
In the time though, like when I was doing it, because I don't do it no more, but I had a very long journey with Mary Jane, and music was so much deeper when you're doing that. Like when you are on that level, when you smoke weed and you listen to a song, like it hits different. Like the same songs I used to listen to when I used to get high and they was dope then, they still dope now. They just don't have the same.
It don't hit you the same.
It don't hit it like it's nostalgic, but it's just not as nostalgic unless I smoke a blunt or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like when Eminem came out, I was heavy into smoking weed, so I was listening to this dude's lyrics. Like, man, he was poor as shit. I love it. I'm poor too. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like Mary J. Blige, My Life. Like I hotbox listening to My Life, and don't get me wrong, it still hits. But just back then, it was like that weed just made whatever it is in Mary Jane. I appreciate you for everything because it makes music better.
Hit differently.
It's not for everybody, right? Like, some people get all paranoid.
I'm not saying do drugs, guys. Wait, I'm not saying do drugs. Don't take my shit wrong.
No. And I don't even think it's like drugs like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's truly not for everybody. But I always say that it just it gives you a focus, right? And you might focus on the wall or a slice of cheese or global politics, right? but it's up to you to target that focus on the thing, right? But much like you, when I listen to music, especially when I first started smoking weed, like I mentioned my roommate from college earlier. He was big into Bob Marley. And while I knew like the hits and stuff, like I hadn't gone through the catalog, I was 18 years old, 19 years old, you know what I mean? Like in Detroit, that wasn't a thing. And we Trini anyways. My family's from Trinidad. So the Caribbean music we played was Calypso in my house, right? So not a lot of reggae was played. But you sit there, we roll that shit up. Niggas be drinking eggnog and cognac in the winter and shit, and just turn on black lights and have your whole room glowing and shit. And a song like Natural Mystic, like literally will run chills through the fucking back of your spine and shit. You know what I mean? Like that's why bass lines are important to me. Like you start to feel the vibration of.
It's a connection.
Yeah, it's like it absolutely like you actually feel the music in a totally different way. If you're aware and conscious, some motherfuckers are like, "What's that? Who's that? Where you going?
Yeah.
What's that?"
Ooh, I hate it. Paranoid
people get paranoid. I get it. Don't do it. It ain't for you. But
and look, and actually, that is actually what music. That's what the purpose of music is. And literally with the whole like records and stuff, that's what that was. Cause like when you put on a record, an actual vinyl record, and you put the needle to the record and you hear all that crackling noise and all that stuff. And you hear all that
crackle. Yeah.
That's the connection with your whole physical body. And they started trying to take away from that because they know what's going on as far as this connection with the music and what it does with our whole body and in the way it makes us feel.
Yeah.
So you end up leaving the whole vinyl thing and going to a CD. Like you don't get that same vibe like you get from a record. Like I put on a record now, it's like, man, that feel good. Like I'm hearing the crackling noise. CD, you don't get that. You don't get it.
You don't. But I will say I am into like. So I think certain genres are for certain mediums, right? So like jazz, certain old R&B, even older hip hop, is for vinyl.
Oh,
but we do move forward and progress technologies, right? And like Dr. Dre is, like you could listen to The Chronic now, which at this point is almost a 30-year-old album, and it will knock. Like sometimes when my shit goes from on random on iTunes in my car, when it goes from like some new music shit, and then it goes to some Chronic shit, I have to turn my shit down because Dre shit bumps. You know what I'm saying? Like he mastered the digital shit. So like,
right.
And hip hop is a bass for me. It's like that. Bass is the one vibration frequency you can't ever stamp out.
Exactly.
Right?
Quick master that too.
It will shake the ground. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there will always be some level of bass that can be heard.
Oh, E40 does that too.
Yeah. E40. You know what? I'm glad you said 40 because it's one of those things where he's another cat where I will always remember the first time I saw him, Captain Save-A-Ho on the video jukebox, the video, and I was just like, I couldn't understand a word he said, but I was like, what is this? I was just like, this shit is amazing. Like,
yeah.
Should I say her?
And I was like, what is this nigga talking about? Like, but cracking up, amazed, and totally pulled in. But the hyphy movement, that yay area, like to this day, like my niggas who have been on the East Coast the whole time have no idea what I'm talking about. Like it just didn't get there. And I'm like, that's why New York lost. That's why Jay-Z's the only like New York rapper that survived. Because he went to Houston and did shit with UGK. You know what I'm saying? Like he went to the West Coast and did shit with Quick. Like Jay-Z saw it. He was like, wherever it's going down, I'm gonna go in and get my piece of that. But the rest of these New York niggas are like, nah, son, you bars. And it's like, okay. First of all y'all don't have bars. All y'all don't have bars. But y'all are missing out on a whole thing. Like the hyphy movement in the Bay, I think is a very significant slice of the hip hop movement. That the whole East Coast they just don't even. I'm like, y'all niggas missed all of that.
If I'm in the club and a hyphy song comes on and I don't got braids, if I don't got braids and a hyphy song comes on,
shake them dreads.
With myself, I'm like, why can't I shake my dreads? Why can't I? Like, move. This gotta go somewhere. You gotta feel my hyphy in my soul. When Mac Dre come on, you gotta see me get stupid. I gotta grab somebody else. I gotta do all of that.
I got Jersey motherfuckers who are so into hip hop, and when you say Mac Dre, they will Scooby Doo your ass like, that's a Mac Dre. Like they have no fucking clue.
Terrible.
I'm in the building and I'm feeling myself. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they don't even know what that, and they might be yelling A right now. They literally.
They yelling A.
They yelling A.
They don't know where it came from.
They don't even know. They don't even understand. So I, you know what? Let me not do it false. I'm gonna pour some more, and then I'm gonna throw one up. I'm gonna throw one up for the Bay in terms of hip hop. And we talking about music here. Yay area hip hop has always been very. Listen, first of all, I'm the Mac of the year. No fear. Okay. Drew down, nigga.
Oh man,
nigga, we used to
Drew down.
Nigga, we used to
Drew down.
Nigga, Drew
that
down.
That beat though?
No. No. Okay, sorry. I gotta give y'all this because I'm a Detroit nigga, a real Detroit nigga. In high school, don't give me no Bammer weed. We don't smoke that shit in the SFC. RBL posse, nigga. RBL posse, nigga. That was real hip hop.
This girl right here was on repeat.
There's a blue blood on my shirt. Can I kill it?
Right here. All time.
It's the 1, the 2 to the 3 to the 3 and the nigga. Them niggas was that. You know what? I gotta download.
Go ahead, play it.
I gotta go download all my Bay Area shit. I gotta get my RBO posse back on. I gotta get my Drew Down back. My yeah, man.
Go ahead, play it, Lon.
Listen. My God. Oh, Superman. Oh, you play Above the Law. I dare you. I dare you to play Above the Law. Right
Above
now.
the Law, man. Classic joint. Classic joint.
Listen, when that shit is on, I'm the hardest nigga in my car in LA. I'm here with my shit like
Black Superman.
Black Super.
All right, so I'm gonna be out on Black Superman, guys. I got some shit I gotta do. Do it.
Hit the new seat and pulls up in the deuce. About the fake ass truths and the niggas out there wanna play. And then I blast away. Far enough to go off the ledge. Off the ledge. To the Chevy.
Classic joint. Classic.
Yeah. That video, that little young blood walking down the block. Just banged out with the black gloves, white tee, Lokes. That was a hard ass image back in the day. Tam, you said you gotta go, huh?
I gotta go, guys. I thought this was. I mean, listen. Don't get me wrong. Like I can't wait.
We didn't went over.
I can't wait for next time because, like that, hearing that Black Superman was like, yo. So can we talk about Menace to Society? But I can't. So we gotta.
Look, that next show.
Yeah, let's talk about them black gangster movies. Let's do that.
Listen, and how it's connected to music.
The soundtracks, them soundtracks.
Childhood is not the way. And like this is okay. I gotta go.
So we're not gonna even get into it right now. So let's do it on the next.
We set up a next one already. We got to do.
We already set up a next one. So look, thank you, Black Pedro, for coming through.
My pleasure. All day. Thank you, ladies, always for having me.
Muchas gracias, Pedro.
I don't even know what that means. Is that a dish of Taco Bell? I don't know. Let me get 2 muchas gracias.
Thank you guys for tuning in. So just join us next Saturday, same time, same place, YouTube. Peace, everyone.
Let us get into this music. Y'all have a good night. Bye.
Peace.
Hey.
How you